Yo, what up, what up? It's your boy Booskin, a.k.a. Fatback Jackson. Ooh, with Big Dog Chucky Russell up in the building. We did something special today. We pulled up on my guy, L.I., a talented brother, super talented.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on with you, my man?
Hey, man, it's an honor to be on y'all cast, man, for real, because I've been telling people since day one when it started, like, if I don't get an interview, bro, I'm going to start dissing this nigga.
We packed it up. We bought it to you.
I love it. I appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
And we like what you got going on here, man.
Right.
Appreciate it, bro.
It's real, it looked real complicated to me.
Right.
But it looked real dope, man, to see where you came from. I was telling Chucky a little bit off camera that I remember you did my whole album at my crib. Like you brought your stuff over there.
Yeah.
And I had like a bullshit program. I think it was on like the Cool Edit, Adobe, one of them. And you was like, nah, bro, we gonna make this shit sound fire. And we did. Remember Me Forever.
Yeah, man, that shit was love, man. That shit was love. One thing I loved about that timeline where nobody was trying to be famous. We just was trying to get heard. And I think a lot of people that do this music shit want to be more than that. Right. They don't accept, like, the fun out of it. You know what I'm saying? Because it used to be fun. Now, niggas is, like, waking up in the morning trying to find out what way they can sound like another nigga. That shit is so weird. Right. But I respect the grind of people, you know what I'm saying? It took us a bit of time to get what we doing, but... You know, it's all love over here.
Yeah, I mean, you already know how I feel about you, bro. You like my mentor. Like, I mean, I show love when it's. I mean, shit. The reason why I'm producing is because of you.
I appreciate that shit.
Like,
I love the way you sound, bro.
I came to you. I was like, bro, I'm trying to make beats. Like, you basically pointed me in the right direction, got me started. You know, like, I give all the credit to you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, like, I'm humble. Like, I give credit where credit is due. Like, and like I said, bro, it's like, you like my mentor for real.
Yeah, man. And then before we even get to, you know, how you became, you know what I'm saying, a good friend of ours, you know what I'm saying, you had a past with this musical journey. So I kind of want to take it back, like, to your earliest days of you, like, wanting to even do this music thing.
Yeah, man. I mean, I could take it so far as telling niggas it started on a djembe. Niggas don't even know what that is. That's an African drum.
I do not know what that is.
That's an African drum with like lamb skin that's used in Africa in certain parts of Africa. I can't even like be that smart right now to tell you what region, but you know those are drums that is made to make like, because you know in Africa drums is used to communicate. Whether it's to communicate emotions or communicate like, yo, there's a lion outside or something. But at the end of the day, those are ways that people could resort to hearing and feeling. And it started there. I was in a church starting to play like hand drums. And as that was progressing, I started to learn more about rhythm and technique. And then after that, my love started falling to the drum set, which got me into going to performing arts. My mother is a alumni from Performing Arts, the School of Creative Performing Arts downtown, and her sister, her other sister, both went there. So I had like a relationship to opportunity to get there, and I went and did before all that, I had to do a whole year and a half of straight learning, arithmetics, rudiments. These are things that drummers understand to become a drummer. So after all that, the guy who was teaching me was one of the teachers at the school, and he gave me an audition. And I loved that fact because it was like they could have just put me in the school because they knew me. And that's how a lot of things is in this world. They'd be like, yo, we know dude, he da-da-da-da-da, he worked with that. But they made me literally remember a set of rudiments and a set of songs and a set of like sheet music. You know what I'm saying? And I had to study that, learn that. Then I got there, auditioned, got my papers from them, said I was on. And it was on and popping for like 3 years. I was down there really learning. And I met a lot of good people. I mean, if you could imagine having like these type of classes, like we talking about first class is like, you got English. Then after that, you got like math, and then you got home ec, and then you got drum set class. That shit is fire to me. You know what I'm saying? That changed my head, bro, because I was downtown in the heart of it. Right. Like when I went to school, the riots was going on. Like I watched a nigga bust out a fucking window and take a PlayStation 2 and jump on a bus. Like that shit, I really saw that shit. And what's so funny is, back to that riot shit, people be forgetting, it reminds me of music. When somebody sees something going on, they don't affect the shit that's real. They affect the fuck shit. So like when that shit was going on, they were fucking up the companies that wasn't taking care of the hood.
Mm-hmm.
But yet the kids that was coming off the bus, the children that was going to school, they even said shit to us like, don't be late. You know you got to get in there at 8.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that shit used to hit me hard. And I ain't know none of these niggas, but these kids are from the inner cities. So, like, I'm from Forest Park. It took me 5 bus zones. So, basically, there's a zone for every time you get down there. I take the highway off a bus. These niggas is literally down the street. They lived around that area. I was out of the district. I had to pay $9,000 to get to the school. But I had a scholarship for a period of time.
Right.
So it wasn't like, oh yeah, you need 9,000.
Right.
But it was real. Like this was
Right.
before open enrollment. So yeah, I went through it.
So when you was doing that in that school, were you making beats for artists then or not yet?
So like the beat stuff always was something that always took after. Like I'll say this, I got into making beats when I got to Wynn Woods when I had to go back.
Okay.
I ended up losing the scholarship because there was an issue between Greater Oaks and Cincinnati's public school district. They basically did a deal where if there was kids that lived in our area, which is where Greater Oaks is, Diamond Oaks, Scarlet Oaks, and other places like that. Yeah, well, that's just in Tri-County area. When we was out there, they told us that, we have to stop this transaction because what they did was they took kids from the inner city to go to Greater Oaks, Scarlet Oaks, that area, to do trade schools, which is like working on cars, being beauticians, all that stuff. And after that, they started seeing that them kids that came from the inner city weren't going to school. They would literally go to Tri-County Mall, kick it, and not go to school. But us, we were going. We had great grades. We were phenomenal students. But they started to see that the transition wasn't working on their side. So they had to cut the actual program and told me, I think it was my 9th grade year. No, I take that back. That's when I started. It was my 11th grade year. They were like, yo, this ain't working out. You're going to have to pay or you're going to have to. And there was a lot of small stuff that was going on I really can't speak on because, some politics shit. But I ended up having to go back to Wynn Woods. And that's where I started seeing what they were doing. And they were working on FL and working on beats and stuff like that. Like, shout out to Hippie. Pretty Hippie. He was going by what was he going by at that time? Young Diesel. When he was battle rapping.
Yeah.
And
he was making beats?
Yeah, he had a whole studio with his family.
Damn.
Wow.
Making beats on the MP. So was Pistol Pete. So was a few other artists. There's a lot of uptown niggas like DCR. Like them niggas we all went to Casino, niggas in URL. Like them niggas was working. And I had no idea. Beast My Mills, all them niggas. So yeah, shout out to them niggas because they were like the legacy holders telling me how to do this shit. So let me say it louder.
Yeah. So but then eventually you came to Mom. You made your way to the town. That's when you graduated. You like, I'm gonna just go somewhere close right up the road to Mom.
Yeah, Mom was my biggest decision because I didn't want to go to Cincinnati State because everybody in my area always called Cincinnati State like the 13th grade.
Right.
They never treated that like a school.
Right.
Which I don't know how it is with other people, but just that area, which it felt like you were going back to a high school option. And yeah, I went to Mom because like I actually had relationships in Middletown before I even thought about going there because my family went there. They lived in Robert Springs.
They went to Mom?
No, they went to Robin Springs. They lived out there. They went to school.
They lived at Robert Springs. Okay.
Yeah, and then they went to school like Vale. My cousin went to Vale and everything.
You got folks down there? I didn't even know that.
You
kind
of did, but you might not remember. Like Sharice Hill is my cousin, and she lived out there in Jasmine Hill.
I know them.
So yeah, they were young, a little bit younger than me, but they known out there. They got people and family out there. But yeah, so that I kind of already knew a little bit about Middletown. But what's funny is when I moved, you know where I moved? I moved over at Village East.
Right.
And Village East, every time I tell a nigga I lived out there, oh, you live in the good part.
Yeah.
Like you got AC and shit.
Yeah,
like I was like,
nice apartments.
I didn't know though. I'm just
they
like.
still nice now.
But to that timeline, I was kind of upset because I already looked as first off I was a Cincinnati nigga. And then at the time because niggas ain't Cincinnati, they ain't Forest Park for some reason. Shout out to them haters. But like that entire experience was outgoing. Like meeting y'all somehow in some way in some different. And I can tell you it was different.
It was different because we gonna get into it a little bit more later. We're gonna dig.
Yeah, we gonna have to, man, because that shit is a story.
It's a small city, so we very territorial. No matter what you doing, Like you can come down there and have the best intentions.
Mm-hmm.
You can like this don't even gotta be you in the drug game or nothing like that. You can just come down there and have the best intentions to be like, okay, you a mechanic. Okay, I do mechanic work too. I'm gonna start me a little spot down here. Just send me some work that you can't do. Nigga from Middletown gonna look at you like, nigga, I'm not sending you no business.
Right.
And you wanna know
That's just how we play.
You wanna know something even sicker that I never told you guys? This is live on the internet. Like, listen. I don't know if you know, but my actual great grandfather was actual barber in Middletown for 20 plus years.
Red?
No.
Did he work at his store on? Did he work at this barbershop on Main Street?
I want to say it was definitely towards that area, but I don't remember what it was called.
That would be crazy because
He a very, very light-skinned nigga, and he was a barber.
Because it was a dude back in the day. My dad used to take me to get my hair cut on Main Street. It was an older man, and he used to cut my hair. He was
I would not be surprised.
Yeah, he
like
was
super
old.
light school.
Yeah, he was old, and he was
I would not
my
be
dad used to take
surprised
me to get
if
my
that
hair cut.
really is
Right.
true, bro.
I'm like, that might be him, or he worked in there or something.
And you know what's so crazy? Like, I didn't know it, and his last name was Nelson. So I'm not sure.
I don't remember his name. We used to call him Mr. Something. I can't remember what I called him.
That's crazy, bro.
Mr. Something. I can't remember. I have to ask my mom.
Yeah. But you got a lot of history in Middletown though, because a lot of people they be like, I'll bring you up, like, yeah, L made this beat or we was at L studio or whatever. They be like he from up the way, and they'd be like, oh, I thought he was from Middletown this whole time.
Right.
But then you got some people that be like, he ain't from Middletown.
Right.
Nah, and that was one of the things that if a nigga could ever feel away, it was shit like that. Cause I'll be like, I love being a part of Middletown so many times, but I also be wondering why. Like, I always have that, and you just said the territorial scenarios. But let's be fucking frank. Some niggas just don't want to accept that there's someone else from somewhere else bringing you something when they know there's, like, at one point in time, and I'll say this live, I remember at one point in time when I was first trying to get beats off, and I wasn't even that, like, per se that nice. I was still learning. I'd be like, yeah, I got beats. He's like, well, who your nigga? And the first name I always kept hearing was Fame. Kept hearing Fame. Like, who the fuck is Fame? So as a nigga that also, because remember, I came from a background of basketball and sports and shit like that. So when a nigga bring up another nigga when I could do the same thing in my head, I'm already saying, who the fuck is this nigga? Like, how nice could he be?
Right. But was you nice then though? Like,
Let's be honest. I think I still was on my learning curve because I still had things to learn about programming drums and understanding difference in sound and tone and quality. But at the end of the day, this nigga, if we remember, Fame had his own sound since day one.
Right.
Yeah.
And the same goes for other niggas as such as Willie and such as fucking Thomas, and the same thing with Flowers. And I know these niggas now, but back then it was like, man, fuck all these niggas. I want to be somebody one day.
Right.
So with that being said, I remember, if I can bring a memory quickly, I remember meeting Woody for the first time.
Woody.
And we was at the KFC Bowl. And Bula pulled me up with him. You know, shout out to Bula, shout out to Doug, shout out to all them niggas in the breed.
That's what I met you when you was running with them.
Yeah, and they were the ones that took me under like the wing. Because everybody else gave me that. I mean, nigga, the first week I came to Middleton, I got dissed by Rodney. I called that nigga Randy for 3 years and didn't know that nigga's name was Rodney. I had to keep getting reminded by niggas like, you know that nigga named Rodney, bro.
You be fucking up niggas' names though.
I mean, but shit, how many names I don't
do
remember?
too, but you be fucking up niggas' names.
Is it a light-skinned thing?
I'll be wondering if you be doing it on
Stay
purpose.
tuned and find out. Like,
I'll
where that lighter at?
I know. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, he was patting himself down for an ID.
I don't have it. I ain't never had one.
Yeah, baby blue lighter. I don't know where, remember.
Nah, it's probably somewhere chilling. But nah, like I was saying, bro, at the end of the day, the fixation of being an artist in the city really fucks with me, like, cause I always wanted to be as good or as great as y'all niggas at one point in time. Cause you gotta remember, your name was buzzing. So was a lot of other niggas. Like we talking about like New Breeze group before was SQN, right? And then even SQN was a different conversation because them niggas was, you know, I think if at one point in time Boomer was in there,
Right.
and
At that time, it was a lot of artists at that time when you came down. We had our thing going. You had I know them as New Breed. I didn't know them before that. You had the New Breed. You had the OGs. Let me say that for a fact. You had Played It. You had Player. Who else?
Fifth
Chuck?
Ave.
Lil D.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah,
Yeah.
Lil D.
Fifth
They all
Ave.
under
Fifth
that
Ave,
umbrella.
There
You
was a
had
few niggas.
you had Fame and Woody and
You had Josh, what you had, Dub.
J.
And you
Dub.
had Picasso.
Yeah.
Picasso. Yeah,
And what's so
Vendetta.
and what's so crazy is when you go back to that time period, there was a whole other nigga bubbling before all you niggas.
Yeah.
And that was bruh.
Who?
Lavon.
No. Who?
Larry was in the
Oh, yeah,
industry.
yeah.
But nobody
Yeah.
speaks about that.
Right.
Cause
But that was kind of before us. Though.
that's what I'm saying. But
Yeah, that
if
was
you think
before.
about it, like
Right.
he already took the steps necessary to get into the industry, and that's why I love. And I have to say this on camera because I say this a few times to people and they forget. Willie, to me, was Grand Central.
Yes.
If you wanted to know what was what, who was who,
Always.
you go to his house.
Always.
For no reason, a nigga be there working on an album.
Always.
On something.
On something, whether it's, and we're gonna talk about the Purple City because I told you I feel away because that's like one of my favorite things of all times, and that's my inspiration to a lot of things I've done. In my life.
We've been trying to get him to talk. We've been trying to get him to start doing them again. Like we've been trying to talk to him about doing them.
It's
again.
hard to get Willie to do a lot of
Yeah.
things, but talking about that, I mean, I think it strikes a nerve because you got to think about.
He had
But let's
the
go back
spot.
to the mom shit, bro. Like, mom shit was an idea I made just being at the school. I was like, hey, you rap. All right, cool. Let's rap. Now, let's be honest. You said about the territorial shit earlier. So if I say you rap, you might not even know me. And like, why the fuck you want to rap with me? I got my own shit. Fuck that. And then, let's be honest. I'm old enough to expect it. Nigga, that shit was fucking childish in a sense. Mom's finest, nigga. But when you really go back to what I was trying to do, I was just trying to claim name to something.
Right.
But at the time of, it was just whatever. Like, I didn't get time to make that name. Like, to the point where even the school was like, yeah, y'all can't call yourself. The marketing department, like, you can't call yourself that. I was like, why? He was like, we just have too much invested into that name for you guys. And the dean, who I never told you this, the dean's son went to performing arts. So I had ties with her before all this shit started.
Right.
And guess what he was? A drummer. And his teacher was my teacher from performing arts. Before I got there, the one that taught me how to do the rudiments to get into school. I be trying to tell niggas, bro, I be leaving legacy tips in the beginning, like keep your connections.
Right.
So when that shit started popping, which it did, tell me if I'm lying, which reminds you.
Well, not to
Go ahead,
stop
go ahead,
you,
go ahead.
but how did you transition from with the mom's finest thing to getting with the SQ and all them, like?
So it all started in the hall, like where the food area.
Them niggas wasn't going to school, was they?
Only person was Doug at the point of time.
Okay.
Bula did, but he like I gonna say dropped out. I don't know exactly what happened, but I know he was there and he no longer was there. But so was Doug.
Okay.
You know, so niggas did some time, but Randy, here we go. Rodney was there, but you know, like I met Doug through the chances of like I used to literally bring my laptop with beats. I bring speakers too, and I play them
beat
beats.
joints.
Yeah, and I would play them shits in the hall while we eating shit, like the chicken tender meal or whatever. And we just rapping and shit. And like the first nigga I remember that came right to the table was Craig P. Craig P came right to the table. Nigga, I'm from Miami, 131. You know what I'm saying? He was just a rapping ass nigga. And I was like, I like his energy. So that's how it started. And then, you know, Doug quietly made his way in there, but he was louder than he is now. But, you know, he would rap. Then G Rev, he came in there with his little short self. And then, like, more niggas came in, you know. Ronnie had came in sometimes. There was even some niggas on the team, the ball team, that were not even from there, which I loved. I love how there was niggas in the ball team that got more respect than my dumb ass. And they was just regular niggas. And they was. I heard the spot was O Town. That's where all the ballers used to have to live.
Yeah. That's where they all.
If you
lived at.
hooped,
Yeah.
you went to O Town.
I used to see him. I was running through there doing stuff. I used to see him over there.
Bruh,
Right.
so yeah, and I mean shit, and it just goes back to that. So yeah, that's what happened. I met Doug. Doug put me on to some things. He the reason why I understand about Cool Edit. I remember the day he told me, he's like, I told him what I was using, bro. He laughed at me so hard.
What was you because you was using Cool Edit or you was using
Nah,
something else?
I was using Audacity, nigga.
Oh, okay.
And that nigga laughed so hard.
Is that still around right now?
Nah, nigga, that was like literally the freest thing on earth. You know, I first learned about Audacity to make ringtones from my uncle.
That's like the.
He was like, take 30 seconds of this song from Music Soul Child and put it on my BlackBerry.
Right. That's
That's just how it was.
Like Audacity is like the MySpace of social media.
Like, bro,
No,
it was
Black
serious.
Planet.
And you can do songs on there if you just layer it and rap over it.
Yeah, cause yeah, that's funny because I remember Envy, like going back to Envy. I remember when he used to make beats
used
off the
everything.
PlayStation.
He used
off the
everything.
PlayStation 1.
Yeah,
I don't-
That nigga
it was
was
this
anything.
game. I don't know what it was, but he used to
Oh,
make
it was
know.
a tone generator. It's made by MTV.
and he used to
Yeah.
make it
Flex.
literally off the PlayStation. I sat and watched him make a beat off of there. I'm like, that's crazy.
But what's so funny is it actually was really good. They put
Yeah.
real good sounds in there. It was a sound engine.
Right.
But nah, man, it was hard. You couldn't bounce them shits out. Which would piss me off. Like, how you not gonna give us an option to bounce the records on a CD or something? They ain't no CD burner on a PlayStation. Like, it's
Okay, I just got a question for you. Just a producer question. What was the song or beat that you heard that you was like, all right, I gotta make beats. I wanna make beats. Like, or any producer,
you
particular
gonna be
producer.
mad. You gonna
or
be mad.
whatever.
There's two. I'll say the first one.
Hold on. Before you answer that, I mean, when you answer that, and then I want you to give me your top 5 producers.
Okay. So the first one, I'm gonna say the first one because it's gonna be the off-putting one.
Right.
And the second one you should kind of guess because
Right.
that's just who I am. So the first one is gonna be "Frontin" by Pharrell.
Mm-hmm.
When I heard the melodicness to the drum patterns in that song, and her like I just heard that.
Just
yeah.
Yeah,
Like it just.
the little attention to detail, like
And you heard about that song, right?
What?
"Frontin" was for Prince.
Yeah, I remember hearing
So
about that.
like, that even makes it worse for me because
Right.
I'm like.
Right.
Prince said, "Fuck this record." He put Hove on it.
Right.
It's a hit record.
Yeah, and Prince would have skated on that beat.
Man, but see, Prince one of them niggas. He a Middletown nigga in my head.
Yeah.
He don't want nothing from nobody. He got his own
It
shit.
gotta be his him.
Like,
It gotta be him. I heard him say some shit like that. Like, man, he was like, it's hard for me to watch somebody perform because I feel like I could do it a different way. Like that's just. I don't know if
you
that's
already
ego.
said about Guitar Hero. That's what I knew.
What did he say?
He said, "Man, Guitar Hero is garbage. There's no notes. It's just buttons." And,
Right.
and I felt him, but the pattern is what makes sense.
Yeah.
He don't think about that. This boy is classically trained in 17 instruments. He don't
Yeah.
give a fuck.
Yeah, he's a musician.
Shout out to Blackwell, which is his drummer, because I actually met him personally.
Oh yeah.
And that dude, rhythm is fuck. But
Mm-hmm.
like, like perfect example of what I was saying back to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it takes a certain energy to make the music he makes.
Yes.
Anybody, like I can't do
Right.
that shit.
Right.
I feel gay off rip.
Right.
Like that nigga was real, but he said, "I know me."
Yeah.
And he made the records he did. So that's that one, right?
Okay.
Which is that entire Clones album.
Yeah.
That just
Yeah, that
busted
was
my
that.
head.
Yeah, that just.
You know what's so crazy? Guess what I bought at the same day I got that album?
What?
I bought that album and I bought the AM1 mixtape with Black Widow on it. That was the two things I bought that in a headband.
Where you was back up here then, wasn't you?
Yeah, when I was a kid.
got it
I was at
from
Foot
Devo?
Action and some shit.
Oh no, you had to be at Foot Action.
Yeah.
Foot Action or
Finish Line?
or Champs. Champs used to sell that stuff.
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
Foot Action or Champs.
But nah, so that was that.
Who your second one?
The second record is Through the Wire.
Man, that got me too, man.
No, but this is the thing. When everyone has that nigga that they say, I know you know what I'm talking about. When you be like, "Man, nigga, I was the first fan of this nigga, I was bumping this nigga for all you niggas was fucking with the nigga. Now he hot, you like him now. I told you about him. You said he was trash." That's how I feel about Ye, bro. Yeah. Especially the Ye we talk about, not the Ye of the. But anyways,
Oh yeah.
it's hard to call him old
Yeah.
Ye because that it isn't old. It just was him.
Yeah.
It was a sane Ye. I don't know what you would call him.
right.
But they both are crazy. But anyways, when I heard Through the Wire and his preach, like the fact that every time he let a nigga hear his record, every time he said what he wanted to say, and everybody kept saying, "Nah, we good on it."
Yeah, like that documentary. Like
Like,
that
but
documentary just showed everything. Like
But
they really.
You know the
wasn't-
truth about that documentary? I didn't watch it for a whole month.
Really?
And you know I'm a
Right,
Ye nigga.
right.
I just couldn't because
Yeah.
I knew they did it to where it was like I don't want to hear that shit. I know.
Yeah.
I know every fact. Like performing arts, 9th grade, English class. I did an entire. They actually told us to pick something that we loved, like either a song or a person or a moment or a movie, and they asked us at Performing Arts to write an actual 3.5 and then do an interview about it in front of the class.
Right.
And I did Through the Wire.
Right.
Do you know Through the Wire got that album? I had a nigga rob the music store downtown and get that motherfucker for me. I paid $6 when that shit was going for $13. and I was bumping that shit on my CD, man, on the bus. Mm-hmm. So that entire experience for him that was real to me.
Right.
Because I wanted to rap. I wanted to make beats.
Right.
I wanted to be everything.
Right.
And the only person I had was Jay Dilla, and everybody used to push Jay Dilla to the side on the rap side. Like, you ain't never heard, but you can't even name a song where Jay-Z did a song with Jay Dilla or.
Yeah, I never really heard too many songs that Jay Dilla rapped.
And he got bars.
Right.
But it's a different type of bars, which that's why I love about my rap style. I learned how to create it on.
You see, because what was crazy about that time was a producer rapper really wasn't popping.
It wasn't a thing.
Unless you was doing like Diddy or Jermaine Dupri type.
Or Dre.
Or
but even,
Timberland
but guess
or
what?
Dr. Dre.
All them niggas we're talking about all got wrote for.
Right. Yeah.
Every one of them niggas got
Right.
wrote for.
Right.
Not one of them niggas wrote their own raps.
Right.
To the point where it's kind of sad when you agree.
Right. Yeah.
How do you make the beat, but you can't rap your beat?
Right. Cause some people that's how it is. Like
I think that was a regular choice.
I remember hearing this is different, but I remember hearing David Banner's story. He was like how he was like, man, I just wanted to be a rapper. He was like, I just started making beats on the strength because I couldn't afford beats. So I just started learning how to make beats myself. You know what I mean?
It's funny you just said something about lighter. We got matches for no reason.
Right.
We about to take it old school.
Old school.
I mean, we at the cookout. Fuck what you mean?
Right.
Cookout. And a little bit of a different location, but we still doing. It still got the vibes.
I'm about to pull out a fucking Pharrell. Remember when Pharrell went on Drink Champs? He's like, y'all should actually start giving flowers to niggas in real life.
Right.
Like, and y'all need to give niggas a box of matches.
Hey, cookout matches coming soon. Merch coming soon.
We've been talking about doing some merch. But then you like, man, let me start rapping myself. Mm-hmm. And is that when the whole Yosh thing started?
Nah, not exactly. When I first started rapping, if I remember when I was already rapping with New Breed. I'll tell you exactly what happened. I remember, you may not remember this, but New Breed, when they were hot, when Gutter was rapping his ass off, when Shot to Gutter, bully shit, shout out to Cash,
Cash.
get out, free my nigga Cash. When Cash had vocal practice, I was DJing. You remember that?
No.
So I had a name. My name was DJ Youngster. And I was like the DJ doing all the mixtapes, like the Better Them Than Me for a Pump. And
I remember those.
And all them. And then I was doing Doug shit. I was doing everybody's shit, but I was going by DJ Youngster. And this is before I left Middletown. And I just kept seeing this success of us just rapping. And we did little diss videos against each other with me and the Young Disciples. And I used to make fun of them niggas. I remember I made fun of Meat. And I had like a glove. It was like a soap glove. They looked like the Hulk. And I was like, yeah, man. I was making fun of all that. But it was fun. It was love. You know what I'm saying? We all knew each other. But we all wanted, to get a digital presence. And that's when we started learning about YouTube and algorithms. But at the time, we didn't know that was a thing. We just knew that, hey, we got something. We say some funny shit on. We can push it. And then if you remember, after I was done with all that shit, I went back to the city because I had left Middletown to go to Cincinnati State. And I moved back to the city. Nigga, who?
You said you made diss songs about niggas.
Nah.
So I didn't know if they...
you remember, because I dissed Dub at the time. I dissed Woody at the time. Because that's when them niggas didn't like natty niggas. But at the same time, I was dissing niggas for the group. Because at one point in time, Picasso wasn't fucking with Dougie at the time. And Dub wasn't fucking with the city.
I remember that. That was,
you know what I'm saying? Not the city, excuse me. Us or whatever we had. And it just got real.
I don't think Picasso, y'all was all wearing Vans.
We were doing a lot of shit, but a lot of colors.
Picasso didn't like all.
Hey, our style. Listen, hey, I'm gonna say this up front so you niggas can get more comfortable, nigga. New Breed made cartoon tees, snapbacks, fitted of that caliber what we were wearing, and Vans a thing. Niggas wasn't rocking that. Y'all niggas was still wearing Timbs. Y'all still wearing black 8-1s. Y'all was running up on niggas. Y'all was at the Grand. The shit was smaller than this room.
Right.
Rapping with the 10 and the gang. And
Fuck the Grand. I went to jail at the Grand.
hey,
man.
them niggas was really bold. And you remember, this is off Braille and all that shit.
Right,
So,
right.
shit. So at that time, man, like I was going through it hard. Like, and if you remember, I worked at Little Caesars when they first opened.
For real?
Yeah. I remember all that shit like yesterday, nigga. I was banging
Pizza,
pizzas,
pizza.
nigga.
Right.
And I would take the pizzas home because you know there ain't no way you gonna eat all these pizzas we crate. Right? We about to take this shit. Anyways, like so when I left, that's when the rap started to hit harder because I started to see my city like Young Butter, B Luck, all them niggas in the city that was bubbling on so many other aspects like Young X and Kill Will and Blackjack. And I started to see them move and I started to converse with them niggas. And that's when I got into the beat battle scene. Yeah. And that's how I met Jay Skills and Crack Sauce, which is now the DJ on the One, you know, Blaze 6 and E-Mac. And that's when I started to see a bubble. I was like, yo, let me get this right. All niggas downtown, we talking about downtown, which, if you want to be honest, downtown is after 275, which is what we call the belt. The belt in 275 literally hits where Tri-County is, and it goes around. It goes to, like, Kenwood and shit. And that's where all you would get your money from. That's where you would fuck with some bitches. You know, it's back when Urban Chat was a thing. When niggas would holler at hoes, they would get the good girls with the good hair, with the good money, with the dad that was a lawyer, and their mom was a stay-at-home bitch. All that funny shit. And then we would start fucking them hoes, but we was also noticing that downtown was them niggas that had a bunch of shit going on. And I'm not gonna just say just like drug shit or like, you know, robbing and shit, but them niggas just was gangsters. Like, there was some shit going on. So Avondale, Westwood, you know, Moosewood, excuse me if I miss any hoods, but I'm just stating like areas of that caliber, like Lincoln Heights. Like Lincoln Heights is still the belt, but they still was considered downtown because they had, you know, Kenny P's and all them niggas out there. So anyways, I started seeing their development and their build, and I always wanted to rap as much as I wanted to, but I started to figure out how to rap, my tone, my quality. And one of my favorite artists, other than I say Ye, was Busta. That's where a lot of my grittiness comes from, and all that and doubles and highlights.
Yeah, he got real good, like, I don't know how you could say, like, vocal presence on the mic. Like, he's like one of the best, like, ever, like, for real. Like, with the vocal, like, know how to control his tone, know when to turn it up, know when to turn it down. Like, it's like really, like, I call him, like, he's like a performance on the song. Like, he's like a performance.
To sicken you, though, is when I watched the Drink Champs with Kanye, and Kanye, the first one, you know, he got 30 fucking issues over there, but the main one was when he was on there, and he was like, I remember this, I don't know about you, or you, I always drink when I watch drink. I never sober watching an episode. I'm with them. Every time they say,
all right, time to take a shot. Right.
Anyways, well, that shit was going on, bro. This nigga said a line that fucked with me. Cause you know, yeah, my nigga, the guy I always want to be like.
He's a genius though. Like, I mean, throughout all the other bullshit, like, he's a real genius. Like
stupid.
Like, take
stupid
all
genius.
the controversy and shit out. If you want to just go straight music, like, he's a musical genius.
This nigga Kanye told fucking Noriega, like, I would cut my left arm.
Yeah, I remember that.
To be like Bus with the voice. If I could have his voice. And I knew it. I was like, because I didn't pick to rap like Bus. Bus just was one of my favorite artists. And the first album I ever got to intake as a young nigga was The Genesis.
Right.
So when I heard The Genesis and Trunk Volume and all the records that he was doing at that time, like, you know, all that. And that's when he got to work with Dr. Dre, and he worked with Pharrell, and he worked with Knots and all that. And people don't know Busta is a beat maker. Yeah. You know the song Fire is made by him. He made that beat.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So that's when I knew, but let's go run it back.
And, well, to say that, it make me want to talk about, like, you talking about Busta's energy and your energy, because, you know, I done been around you. And I feel like you be having this energy. It's almost like if somebody don't know you, they'd be like, damn, what is he on? Like
is he got problems and some shit?
Like did he drink 10 Red Bulls?
It's like a DJ Khaled, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like
it's a high end.
Yeah.
No, his is different.
Yeah,
though.
like what I mean.
But
what I mean,
base it somewhere.
but what I mean by that is, I mean in like say like He's like, yo, I just made some like basically like trying to sell you on an idea. Like on the idea, like as far as like, man, I just made this beat.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something, bro. You're lucky. You caught me before I started drinking the way I do now. Like, cause before then, that was natural energy. There wasn't no substance.
Right.
Cause you know what was the one thing I'm gonna tell you if I'm lying? Was I not a smoker ever? Like weed. I never smoked weed. No. And I always said, nah, that's not my thing. It's not my now? I'm gonna be honest with you. I smoke that Delta.
That who?
That Delta, no.
That Delta.
Yeah, I smoke that Delta.
Delta. That Delta.
Now,
that's one of them
like THC and shit,
like the little hookah joints.
Yeah, but it's not even a hookah. It's just because THC. We'll go deeper in that because that's some like smart ass shit made by the guys. Like we're gonna be able to sell this even though it's really weed. It's just the way it's not weed on paper.
Right.
But it really
but back to that energy though, it's like you hype, but it's hype to work though.
It's
right.
You know what I'm saying? It's hype to work.
Even when Ye was doing it,
it's hype, but it's more like you love what you doing. Like you just.
But people that don't know me will take it as another side of that.
Nah, it's just the love.
But I'm telling you, people, I love you. You'll understand that. But he'll tell you.
Yeah.
Like when I used to get. We'll talk about that, but you know.
But that's that producer energy though. Like for real, like when you know you like, because like what? You know in your head, like when you making something and you make something and you just know like, ooh, and then that right artist, you know, you just made some shit, and that right artist just walked through that door. And you be like, oh, bro, I just made some shit. Y'all know you was saying. Like, you know, it's just that producer mentality. Like, man, yo, hey, it's like we sell it. Like, I'm telling you, like, bro. Man, because I'll be like that with him too. Like on some of this shit, like I did with him.
You were like that always too, though, as a person.
Yeah, like, man, like that's just the love. Like, you know what I mean? Like I always say this, like, man, once somebody find that niche of something that they love, it's not a job.
It's not a job.
It's not a job. If you're doing something that you love, it's not a job. Like this music shit.
Even though it becomes a job,
it becomes a job. You know what I mean? It becomes a job, but really in your mind, it's not really a job because you love what you're doing, and it's not like because you know sometimes when you had a job, you know you be like, man, I don't feel like working. I don't want.
And I'm gonna tell you some shit like back to that ties in towards almost us getting it together. Is the reason why I really, really started rapping because niggas wasn't rapping what I wanted to hear.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, I respect all niggas, all people, all folks, all kinds of folks, like, that rap a certain way. But when I hear the same shit consistently, like, no offense to any of my drug dealing niggas, bro. No offense to my hood niggas. No offense to, like, just niggas in general. But, like, when all I hear is bitches, money, weed, it just get on my last nerve mentally because I think I can't relate because first of all, I don't smoke when I didn't. And I don't get no fucking money like they do.
Right.
I don't know nothing about that. I never cut up a yam.
Right.
I never pushed a brick. I never served.
Right.
But then I saw the entertainment of it, you know what I'm saying? Like, and if you want to get an honest understanding of my presenting of myself to somebody is how I feel when Michael Jackson's on stage. When Michael speaks, he be like, hello, how you doing? I love you too. I love But that nigga, if you remember.
Right. Yeah,
come on, man.
I remember it was an interview. I remember it was an interview that he did, that Mike did. Speaking on Mike, I remember it was an interview that he did with, I can't remember what it was, I think it was like 60 Minutes or something. He was just sitting in the studio or something. And he was just sitting there like in the studio, and then all of a sudden he just started making this beat with his mouth, like, and it was sounding like.
And it's creepy because that's why I love Timberland, because I know he studied him on that sense too. Because that's what they call the natural form of hip hop. Is to start there. Yeah. When you don't have anything, you make it.
That's what he did.
He was
Timberland was the king.
That's
of that.
why he loved hip hop beats so much, because he loved that swing and that bounce, and you know some of his. And I remember. I'm not even gonna go that far, but I will say this. Back to that nigga was a straight fucking musician mentally. You know? So back to the reason why I talk that way, because let's be honest, if we as chill as we are right now and we doing a hit record that can change lives, why would we be talking like this?
Right.
Nigga, this shit fire. Fire as fuck. You tripping.
Right.
Listen, bro, I swear to God, we gonna get on the fucking. That's how I was because that's how I always gonna be mentally.
Right.
And it got scary.
Early in the morning. It'd be like that early in the morning.
Early
And
as
I'd be
hell.
like, I don't think I ever seen Ill sleep, bro. I don't think I ever seen him
Nah,
sleep.
because sleep
Or
is
when
for the
he- or when
weak,
he
bro.
sleep, he
Sleep is the
real
cousin
quick.
of death,
Yeah,
man.
sleep is weak for me,
Then
bro.
he'll hop up and then he'll be on
I don't
it.
really
if he
sleep
do
like
take,
that,
If he do
yeah.
take a nap.
I take naps. That's what I do.
There's
I
no
nap.
gift. There's
Couple
no
hours.
gift to sleeping all the damn time. Like my dad, like another reason why y'all might not know this is the first. My dad had like that ability where he would sleep in the middle of a conversation. Any other OGs will tell you that.
Okay, like a narcolepsy.
Yeah, like to the point where it was real bad. But he was so gifted to come in and out of his sleep that he can actually produce. Like you don't know this, but my dad used to make beats.
I remember you told me that.
And my dad actually wrote for Midnight Star, and he also helped the deal, which is L.A. Reid and Babyface, and they used to record at his house. So like Babyface used to be at my grandmother's crib making records.
That's another
You know what
thing.
I'm
That's
saying?
another thing.
But
where I
people
be
don't
saying,
know that because they be
yeah.
like, "Why he knows so much?"
That's
I was
another
a part
thing.
of
What
it.
I be saying about Ohio as a period, like Ohio is the low key mecca for real. Like we produced a lot of stars, like back in the day, like from the Isley Brothers
Yeah.
to Midnight Star
Yeah.
to Dennis Edwards, that was in the who ended up being in the lead singer in the Temptations.
Shit, niggas don't even know that.
The Trotman family.
They
like,
don't even know that Anita Baker was born.
Yeah,
in
Toledo.
from here. Yeah, and she actually didn't get famous until she went to Detroit. She's actually she's not. I don't say she's a bandit, but she was definitely like raised by somebody else. Like, so like,
because Detroit they claim her, but I'm like, man, she really from
she
Toledo.
from here though, but niggas don't know.
That's sweet.
Yeah, sweet love, you're my angel, all that. Yeah, she was like she basically put it like this, y'all.
Shout out to my niggas singing
If y'all
on the
don't know who Anita Baker is, if it wasn't for Anita Baker, we wouldn't have a Mary J. Blige. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
I mean, she was so many, bro.
I'm just gonna leave it at that.
And there was so many people like that. But back to the rap shit, like when I found my way in the understanding that I don't like how certain people speak and rap because it's not.
Doing myself.
And then even
These are
doing
my
that.
beats
But do you
anyway.
remember my favorite thing about that was when I used to rap a certain way, and you've been on them road trips with me when I play my records, and niggas would be like, I don't know that it hit, like it don't register to me. But I remembered that it wasn't for you niggas. It was for the niggas like me.
Right.
The college student, the guy that works at Frisch's, the guy that works at Fazoli's, the guy that works at that dead-end job that they have nothing but. You know what I'm saying? They got 2 kids that's still trying to, find a way out of happiness and out of happiness. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But back to what I was saying, the rap shit kept me in a different lane because of my cadence and presence. Like, certain niggas would, like, implicate just saying basic shit, like 1, 2, buckle my shoe. Me, I'll be like 4 or 5. I put you in a, you know what I'm saying? I had a certain cadence and position into the record. So with that being said, I found my way. When I left Middletown is when I really figured it out the first time. And in that process, I got into the beat world. And in the beat world, because that just was a thing. Beat battles. I used to beat up little niggas.
Yeah.
All you
I've
funny
seen
little,
it.
nah,
I've
all you
seen it.
funny niggas, get smart now and remember me. Cause all you niggas that was making beats didn't touch keys. I remember, and before I go any further, because I know this can get intense.
Right.
Y'all niggas
They,
was
they were, hold on, before you said they were intense, because I know we had to go to some of the beat battles and supporting. And I'll be like, man, this man up here talking crazy to these people, man. Like,
it was rap battles at his beat battle forum. Yeah, it wasn't even about we didn't fuck with each other because honestly, bro, I got footage of us kicking it back in the corner.
It's just that the competitive
It's
nature.
that, and it all comes from wrestling, bro. People forget that shit.
Yeah.
It come from wrestling. That's why battle rap and wrestling is so like close.
Right.
Because there's a certain presence you gotta have to keep a show up. Even though you'll beat fire, just because you do this,
Right.
I'm not feeling that.
Right.
But then
Right.
watch this. No. Like, it was a presence you gotta have, bro. You gotta have a presence, but not, so with that being said, Skills was the first guy that really showed me, like, the area to put me under his wing of show presence, the difference between changes, like, when a song starts and how a song ends. To intake your soul. Fuck your vibe. Your vibe. And that's the thing too, man. Fuck niggas and their little punk ass vibes they created. If you don't have a vibe, if you have a vibe and you don't know the fucking tempo of your beat, you a pussy. Like you don't, you're in it to be in it. You're not in it to become something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing with the woke culture. Like, I just feel like certain people expect a certain energy from you because you make beats. So back what I was about to say, like, to the rap to finish off the what y'all saying is just like, I wanted to replace wasn't what's there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was that part of the engine they haven't created yet. And every time I sell it, I'm like, hey, man, listen, she's fire.
Right.
And your ass be like, all right,
But
chill.
but another,
Like, but I'm just telling you, this
But
is
another-
it.
but
It
another-
needs to be in mass production right now, or you're gonna get mad when a nigga in Toledo, or a nigga in Venezuela, or a nigga in fucking Vegas, or a nigga in Miami, New York. They gonna do it, and you're gonna be like, we should have jumped on it.
yeah, see, but
Because it's happened like that. We've
that-
actually had these conversations.
that all goes back to, you know what I mean, you a little younger than us, but you still kind of grew up in that era though, like to where like, you know, like that 90s golden era, you know, like you always wanted to bring something different to the table. You never wanted to sound like nobody. Like
Because that wasn't the thing to do at that
wasn't the thing
time.
to do. Like that.
'Cause if you did, you would be biting. Yeah.
That was the number one thing you could never do in the 90s. Like if this era was in the 90s, a lot of these niggas wouldn't
the same
be-
thing with basketball.
You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of these
They would
niggas
kick a
wouldn't
nigga
be
in the
famous.
middle of a play.
A lot of these niggas wouldn't be famous because they'll be ridiculed for
Yeah,
biting.
yeah.
Because they like, oh, okay, the Detroit sound in. I want to rap to all the Detroit sounding beats. You know what I mean? Oh, the melodic shit is in. I want to put auto-tune on my voice. You know what I mean? Like, it's always about originality. Like if you grew up in that era, like if you come up off that golden era in the 90s, like, you know, biting was the number one thing not to do.
Never to do.
Never to do. Like, you bring something different to the table.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's cool. It's cool. Like, you know, like you can have your
similarity.
yeah, you can have your artists that you know what I mean, that you like and stuff, take a little bit from this person, but turn it into you though. Like that don't mean exactly act like this person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the thing that kills me about this new age music. I mean, I don't want to sound old or nothing like that,
do,
but
though.
but that's what kills me about it though. Like I'm from an era to like if you listen to the 90s and stuff like that, you listen to somebody like Mobb Deep. Or you listen to somebody
Which
like
niggas don't even
MOP,
know about Mobb Deep.
or you
That's
listen
deep.
to like
Or
MOP,
MOP, yeah.
or you listen to this person from there. All these people's from New York, but they got their own sound.
Yeah, boroughs
Wu-Tang.
and
I
all.
would say even the 2000s too. I don't think
Early
I don't-
2000s,
I don't
like when
think- I don't-
Dipset came
I
in.
will
I don't
say
think that-
2000.
That
yeah.
mimicking didn't start to me. I feel like until like the 2010s.
Yeah, 2010.
But I
something.
will say this though, when they always say when the comforts change, and I'll say like when you had to be a certain volume to people, like you got to remember for the 99 and 2000s, the most noticeable respect change that I've ever seen. I've never said to nobody that Atlanta didn't have it, or New York, or excuse me, Atlanta. We going down to South, Miami, Texas, all that. That wasn't not there,
Right.
but it became the place.
Right.
So the Mecca is always the Mecca, right? But I believe in, data transferring. And they transferred from what they were like, bro, we got to do something, nigga. Them niggas is fire up there.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not about to talk about, I'll give you an example. You remember off of the fucking movie, what was that? Straight Outta Compton, when them niggas came from New York and did their little shit there.
Yeah.
And they was like, what the fuck is this 6'4"? and-
Yeah,
and a
right.
Jerry
They
curl?
trying to get New York niggas on
But he
Cali
wrote,
lingo.
bro, was writing the way he knew.
Right.
He wasn't about to write about some New York shit.
Right.
And remind you, let's be honest, just to make it a fast forward process. This nigga genuinely has done everything out of rap possible.
Yeah.
So he was writing his own testament.
Right.
That's why I respect any of these genres we speak about. But back to this, it's a lot of funny niggas.
Right.
A lot of funny rap niggas.
Right.
Like you said, you started rapping, you want to do your own thing, make your own sound. I feel like you done made that mark because your beats are distinctive. Your in your way, your raps are distinctive, and you working on a lot of stuff right now. So let the people know that's watching, like what's coming up. I ain't gonna say what's coming up. Let them know if they missing anything. What the fuck going on right now? Just let them know that.
Well, a quick spill to it, man. It's like, from everything I learned in Middletown, from what I learned working with them niggas in Lawrenceburg, shout out to everybody in ASG, and working with Scandal, which is my manager at one point in time, RIP. I started to see like other people that didn't know me like y'all would know me, see my potential.
Right.
So with that being said, I had to figure out the marketing plan, the behind the scenes options. Because a lot of rappers don't go there. They always go at the rap. It's always rap, rap, rap. Or even that, they even go back to a deeper part. They start thinking about video. Like, the thing about my rap, my style, my composition, it takes a story to be involved to get that motherfucker. And guess what that goes to? What is the best thing about a video game? It's stories.
Story.
So I had to go back to what I am. And I'm a gamer at head. I mean, in my head, every time I'm on a game, I'm literally the gamer. So all the PlayStations, all the Xboxing, all the Dreamcasting, that shit made me make my world into that idea, which is, before I'll say it, is I just was rapping about video games. So I did Gamers Junkies, which was my Dr. Dre option. What would Dr. Dre do if he had to make nothing but video game beats and have artists on it? That was my Chronic 2001 option. I did that in 2016.
I don't think I've never been on any of those.
I mean, you know why. It was a natty thing.
Trying to plug myself a little bit. But what number are you on now?
2 is coming.
2 is coming? Okay.
Through before 2, you know, I had to understand what that was, because the one thing I didn't want to do was make a bunch of volumes of it and not understand what video game music is. Do you know that's a genre? It's called nerdcore. This is a group of folks.
Yeah. And you just went to
I was on a tour.
Okay.
And in that tour, I actually got to work with these guys that go to these Comic-Cons, that go out of country, that perform in Japan, Germany, and shit. Like literally, one of my guys, Shah Megaran, who opened up the bubble for me, literally was performing in London and Germany, and got to meet the owner of Capcom and the guys that do all them things. He's so good in that community that, like, if he gets a call, it'd be from somebody like, yo, this is, I can't even name as many, but he gets game developers to call him to make they fucking songs. And then he'll let me know, because me and him have a very good relationship. Shout out to Joe Schlee, who was the actual sensei of the connection. He already was in that world, but he now does anime. He actually makes comic books, and he also raps. But like, he got me into that world and he told me it's a research thing. All you artists that want to be better in your field and not the field that's already presented, study and research is meant for anything. That's one of the most focal points of a lot of major Fortune companies. We're talking about GE, P&G. We're talking about McDonald's. We're talking about Burger King. We're talking about any major company, Nike. All these companies that you look up towards to buy product from, they did product and research to understanding why one gets to the other. But that's a whole other conversation. But for me to say that I just started rapping and making beats on video games is so cliche.
Right.
Because when somebody has one style, they have another one added. And through that process, I learned a lot about myself, because I started to see the reach that I could have done. I could have been phony as fuck. I could have lied and said, I know all this, that, and the third, but I really don't. Like, you know how it feels? Like, back to what I was saying. Reason why I didn't do Gamers Junkies 2 immediately. Before the fact that I left BTS. Before the fact that I made like 7 other studios after that, excuse me. Nigga, do you know what it feels like when a real gamer hear your shit? Like, I love your shit, man. Have you played such and such? And I never heard of that game.
Right.
My dumb ass do that.
Yeah.
What system is it on?
Right.
That nigga be like, it's on PC. I don't got no PC rig at the crib. So back to the data and researching and shit. So that's why I've been taking my time and also finding where I fit in it. Because all you niggas that put on clothes off the mannequin, you hoes. You'll never excel past the fucking walls of your home, because you always expect one nigga to be like you, just like the one in the front of the store. That shit's gay. You want to hear some funny shit? You gay. Like, these rap niggas is always going to expect to be like someone else over a pair of shoes or an outfit or a hat or a flow pattern or a beat. Like, any nigga that type on YouTube, I'm not saying you gay, but you could do better.
Right.
You know, in my album, which I'm dropping, called Easier Said Than Done, I spoke about my favorite things. You rumbleless, you going through YouTube, that's the lost and found. Because guess what? The guy that put it on is lost, and he hopes it gets found.
Right.
But guess what else? He actually did the credibility of putting it on BMI and ASCAP and did everything on Shazam, on DistroKid. And now you got to deal with the fact that 80 niggas got that off of a license conversation that you had with him on your mind.
Right.
Y'all niggas really around here with 5,000 download emails and shit. Like, after your 5,000, if this nigga want to sue you, he got the right to do it.
Right.
But back to what I can do. I don't depend on that system. I think that's a valid problem. When I worked with Cadre, I gave this nigga one option. I said, if you gonna work with me, you gotta do what I say. And one of the things that I said was to get a studio with the things I asked for.
Right.
He gave me a budget. He said, I got like 1,500. He had more than that. Fuck you, Jig. You had more than that. But we made a studio out of 1,500, and how did that shit sound?
Sounds good.
Sounds amazing.
For that time.
No. This is when I get to say that shit.
For that time
In
frame.
Middletown, there was nothing better.
Yeah.
There was no one better on the quality, product value, sellability, on that timeline. Not saying in general, but in that timeline, no one could beat Jig at his game. Yeah. You know what made it worse? You know when I knew I was on some shit? Fuck all that Middletown nigga shit. You know who told me I was nice? And that was my confidence builder for the rest of it all? When I was at Lowe's birthday party. You know that party when he had the Timberland as a cape?
Yeah.
Niggas don't even know that. And they fought, and that nigga was there hollering at bitches in the corner.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
He told me I was nice.
I'll be outside.
He told me I was nice. He ain't say such and such is nice. He ain't say niggas nice. He ain't say nobody in Cincinnati. He ain't say nobody in Dayton. He ain't say nobody in Toledo. He ain't say nobody in Akron. He ain't say nobody above the map, below the map. He said I was nice.
And that was off the.
And that nigga was the nigga.
My first addiction, because you produced that whole thing top to bottom.
I did the production, a recording of it. I produced a few records. Shout out to Mac. Shout out to Fame. Shout out to the things that you did. And I mean everybody was incorporated in that shit. Right. But I planted the seed to make that grow. Like, remember, not my first addiction. It was the other ones. The second one after that.
The Next Me, one of them.
Yeah, the Next Me is the one.
Yeah, one of them.
No, Next Me is the first one.
That was, yeah.
Yeah, Next Me the first. I don't know why I just went back behind
right.
myself. Yeah, Next Me was first because that was the one that got me the familiar. Yeah. Like, oh, okay. And that's when he was at Babblefish.
Because I ain't.
And I had jealousy in my heart. Mm-hmm. I let them niggas know at Babblefish. I met all them niggas, the producers. Like, man, fuck you. I used to talk to niggas like this. Niggas in New York do the same thing. Right. Hey, fuck you. You got somebody I want to work with. Like, I'm about to take them from you. I said that shit.
Like, watching y'all's process, like, when y'all was going through, I mean, when y'all was making music with Caddy and shit, and then you was just grinding out the beats and all that. That was when I realized, like, man, like a reality check for me just came in my head. Like, man, what the fuck is you doing? Like, man, you love music so much. Why not? I know you don't want to be a rapper or singer like that no more, but why not go to the beat?
But you know the one thing that stopped you and you at one point in time was y'all kept letting that front door be as wide as you is in your head. Mm-hmm. It took product development and product knowledge to get where I went. Yeah. I knew how to use Auto Tunes and Pro Tools better than all them niggas around me. Right. So when the conversation came back, like remember, not only did this is my favorite part. Y'all stupid. Y'all niggas had the choices. You could have actually set up the studios that you recorded in. But no, you went to a studio and learned how to use it. Like, I'm talking about these niggas. Mm-hmm. The timeline.
Right.
I made the studio I was in, so I knew how to use it.
Right.
Whereas niggas go in studios and ask for niggas to ask niggas to do the things that they're doing in their mind and have no idea how the product worked.
Right.
I worked at Sam Ash, right? Mm-hmm. When I recorded that album. So all the other studios I recorded afterwards, I won. I knew what it took the computer to do. I knew how many gigs of RAMs it need. I knew how many hard drives. And y'all niggas think this is funny. This is some geek shit. But guess what? That's why your bitch fucking another nigga. Y'all keep conversating with the wrong people. You need to start getting a white dude and tell you some more shit. Like the same niggas that don't know nothing about Bitcoins. Like this world we live in is always about base on fact. Mm-hmm. You know, what you say in that record, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but you definitely said, man, you say the story, say the truth.
Oh, you gonna tell the story, tell the truth?
Yeah, like that's what I say. Cause every time me and him have a conversation about the past, I always know what happened. Because I was there and I actually made it happen. Right. So through all that cadre scenario, bubbled up to what's going on now, my next projects from the next point on are always gonna be based on my reality. The next nigga that tell me what the fuck to do getting hit. And that's on God. Because I'm not going to base any more energy into a focal matter, like a person that can always altercate their world. I am the next person. Everything I say is truthful, but it's also different because it's not what you would wake up in the morning to think. Some niggas wake up to get fucking food. Some niggas wake up to work their job. Some niggas wake up to take care of their kids. Me, I'm about to change the reality of everyone around me.
Right.
I am the matrix. I understand the ones and zeros.
That's why, that's why I always say this, though. That's why I always say this, though. Like,
and your mama like me.
That's why I always say this, though.
You saw the school joint? I made a whole record about being hated on all my life. Yeah. And I went to a school district and was able to obtain a service by my own school. It took me more than 3 years to do that.
That video was nice.
But there's nobody around me that did it that night.
That's why.